Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. So this is Snapchat AI and I'm going to see if Snapchat AI can create an artwork idea for me. So at the moment I'm asking, can you give me an idea for a fantasy style artwork? It's thinking and it says, how about a dragon flying over a castle at sunset? That sounds very much like an artwork I would make. So now I'm saying very cool, but can you make it a bit more detailed? Because, you know, I want a bit more, interest in this. So it says, how about a red dragon with golden scales, green eyes, flying over a medieval castle with a moat drawbridge turrets with a beautiful sunset in the background. That sounds very cool. So I'm just going to ask it a little bit more clarification here. I'm just asking, what kind of environment is this located? It says the castle is located on a hill with a forest in the background and a river running through the valley below. So yeah, this is going to be very fun. It's definitely in my kind of style. That was surprising, although I did say fantasy, but honestly it could have been anything. And I just have one more question. Is the castle larger than the dragon, or is the dragon larger than the castle? Because that's definitely going to make a difference in what kind of artwork it's going to be. And it says the dragon is larger than the castle. So here we go. This is going to be really fun. So let's just dive straight into it. So starting off, I think I'm going to work in my sketchbook here, and then I can scan it and print it out larger for the actual artwork. I just really enjoy working in this Baylee J sketchbook, and yeah, so I'm just gonna add in a little pencil sketch, and I'm gonna draw in the hill because it said the castle was on a hill and there is a valley below it. So here's the valley. Now with this castle, it said that there was a moat and drawbridge. So at the moment, I'm just starting off the idea for the moat. And yeah, turrets and all that good sort of castle-y stuff in a medieval castle. And yeah, let's just see how this castle turns out. Very interesting. So with my castles, I mainly just add in sort of rough shapes, rectangles and squares, and I sort of build off of that. And now we're going in with the river in the valley below, and I added a little bridge just so that people traveling to this castle could get to the castle. And there was like a foresty area, so I'm starting off a bit of detail on that. Now let's dive into the main attraction of this artwork, and what makes it the most fantasy style is of course the dragon, which has to be larger than the castle. So as you can see, his wings are spread out and he's taking up a fair amount of the space, but not all of the space because we still want to see all of the other details. So with this dragon, I kind of want to give it a bit more of an aggressive look. A lot of my dragons have more of a cute style, or even like a sort of like a fantasy, like, I don't know, wisdom kind of look to them. But with this dragon, I wanted it to look aggressive with teeth and just pointy bits all over and a pointed face, almost like a snake, but with lots of teeth. So I think we have a pretty good base to start off of now, and yeah, I think this is going to be a very fun artwork. So as you can see, I have scanned it and printed it off just a little bit larger. Now I'm just going to trace this sketch onto some art paper here. This is just some Art Spectrum drawing paper. I really like this paper because it has a nice tooth for pencil, but markers still blend really nice on it as well. So we're just going to do a little bit of a sketch slash line art here, and I'm just using my Prismacolor Premier pencils for that, and I'm trying to make sure that I keep the tip of the pencil nice and sharp so I can have some like thin details with that. And yeah, I'm just going in, and as you can see with the dragon, I've kept it like pretty basic line art, but I have tried to make sure that he looks very cool and aggressive looking. And I'm just going in with the castle, and as you can see, I've refined some of those details, so we have like sort of like a rocky wall around that moat, which I think is interesting. And just for the foresty area, I'm just doing like, you know, your basic sort of like scraggly cloud kind of shapes for the trees. And yeah, after this, once I've got that line art mostly done, I'm just going to trim the edges of this paper because I don't want it A4, I want it more closer to square, but obviously it's not going to be perfectly square. But yeah, I just wanted the edges just trimmed off a little bit. Now we're going to go in with the markers, and I absolutely love this part just because it's so fun and satisfying seeing color being splashed down on the page here and just see your artwork come to life. So I'm starting off basically just with the most area of the page, which is this foresty part here, and I'm just going in with some greens and I'm adding in some blending so it looks nice and painterly. And for the trunks of the trees, I kind of went with a sort of greenish brown color to sort of keep with that green tone with the forest. Now with this castle, I'm just adding in some detail with a reddish kind of grey color because there is going to be a sunset here. So I want some of those colors to, you know, mirror that, because when it's a sunset, a lot of those colors are going to look very strong. After this, I'm just adding in some more detail onto the ground here. I've added in some texture just with some like reddish grays and greens and stuff, but I'm going to layer on some brown over the top. And I've tried to keep most of these colors warm as well, because as I said, with that sunset, it's going to affect the tones and stuff. So at the moment, I'm just building off this detail here and just trying to build up some layers. I've added in some hints towards like plants and just vegetation on the ground. And I've added in more shadows and also some yellow tones in the canopy of trees above, just to sort of emphasize that sunset kind of feel. Now I'm just going in with the mountains on the horizon, and I've just chose a nice dark green because it's going to look very nice having sort of like a dark sort of mountainy sort of like horizon and then the bright sort of sunset sky in the background. Now the AI, Snapchat AI, decided that it was going to be a beautiful sunset, so I really tried to make sure that it looked really nice and it wasn't just a gradient. So I added lots of colors in there and just wispy like pinks and yellows, and I didn't want to do like my usual like red to sort of purpley kind of sunset because I wanted to try something different. So I decided to go with the sort of pinks and yellows, and then it sort of fades to that blue that you would see in, you know, the normal sky. And honestly, this was really fun. I loved doing this sunset in this way because I just did lots of little flicking motions and I tried to make sure that it was interesting, but also just super bright as well, because, you know, I wanted it to look fun and just have a lot of contrast in this piece. I also found having those flicking motions that I had with texture in the background really helped to sort of draw your eye towards the dragon as well, which I think is really fun. I also enjoyed mirroring that sky in the water pieces in this artwork, so the moat around the castle and the river as well. I had a lot of fun just mixing those colors that I used for the sky into that water, and it honestly adds a sort of fantasy feel to that as well. So now time to move into the dragon, and the AI described the dragon as red with gold scales and green eyes, and I think I did that pretty well. I used a base of red pretty much all over the dragon, and I added a bit of shading to that as well. And for the wings of the dragon, I decided to go with a sort of dark red cardinal kind of color because it would help with that contrast and just give the dragon an aggressive look. For the underbelly of the dragon, I decided to go with gold, and I didn't like do the gold blending perfectly on the tummy area, but I think it still brings the point across. And I also added in some dark red spines all over this dragon, and I actually decided to get out my gold metallic prismacolor pencil and just add in some sort of swirly details on this dragon's body. And honestly, I think it turned out very cool. It definitely adds an interest to this dragon. So it's got like swirly patterns on its scales. So I wonder what gave that pattern to that dragon. So is it like the scales, or is it like magic like swirling on this dragon's like surface? I don't know, but it's an interesting thing to think about. After this, I'm just going in and I'm adding in some detail over this artwork with my colored pencil. So as you can see, I've refined that castle a bit more, and I'm also just adding in some more detail to the forest area and just refining some parts like the trunks of the trees and just little shadows here and there and textures and stuff. And yeah, this is really, really fun to do. So here's the final results for this artwork, and honestly, I had so much fun. I did not expect Snapchat AI to give me a drawing idea that was like completely in my alley. I thought that it would do something different, something that I'm not used to drawing, even though it's like fantasy, but I was surprised with the dragon. So anyways, let me know in the comments below what you think of this artwork, and if you've tried to get AI to give you a drawing idea. I don't know, I just think it's a fun idea. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Please stay safe out there, and I shall see you in my next video. Bye everyone.